penalties are appropriate for people who try to free ride the system and force others to pay for their health insurance.
President Obama says fines are okay if you don't have health care coverage or bother to get it. The judge, Ada Napolitano, says these fines are okay, too, if you don't believe in something called the Constitution. So, Judge, this is a big no-no on your part. Huh?
Well, you know, the government wants to order you to purchase something. That's never happened in 230 years of America, that the federal government ordered individuals to buy something that they may not want, that they may not need, that they may not be able to afford. And then the government says, if you don't purchase it, we're going to fine you, and if you don't pay the fine, we're going to put you in jail. So they have created a criminal offense here for people that don't buy health insurance. Question. How about a young person that doesn't have health insurance, doesn't have health problems, doesn't need health insurance, and doesn't, as the president just said, game the system because he doesn't use any health care facilities? Should that person go to jail for failure to purchase what the government says he has to buy to take care of himself? And if so, where on earth is the power for them to order us to do that?
The argument for it, Judge, as far as I can understand, is that the reason why our health care costs are going out of control is we're paying for all these people who don't get coverage, and then all of a sudden when they need coverage, we're paying through the nose for them. So we've got to either incentivize or force them to get it.
If the government makes you pay for something more than the thing is worth, then it's not a penalty, it's a punishment. And if it's a punishment...
Isn't that like every federal program, though?
Well, for example, if you go to a federal park and you use a federal campsite, you pay for the fair market rental value of the tent that you've used. The government can do that. In fact, that's how I think the government should survive, by user fees, not by taxes.
Well, that's interesting.
But that's another story for another time if you want to talk about that. The same thing with respect to health care. Don't have health insurance? Go to a government hospital. Government takes care. If you're crazy enough to go to a hospital run by the government sends you a bill for it. But the government is going to bill you for a service you may not need, for insurance you may not want, for coverage that you're not going to use. That would not be permitted under the Constitution because that's called a taking. That's the government taking your assets from you and not giving you back anything in return. And it's prohibited by the Fifth Amendment. For the first time in American history, if this bill becomes law, the feds will force you to buy insurance you might not want or may not need or cannot afford. If you don't purchase what the government tells you to buy, if you don't do so when they tell you to do it, if you don't buy just what they say is right for you, the government may fine you, prosecute you, and even put you in jail. Freedom of choice and control over your own body will be lost. The privacy of your communications and medical making decisions with your physician will be gone. More of your hard-earned dollars will be at the disposal and tender mercies of federal bureaucrats. It was not intended to be this way. We elect the government. It works for us. How did it get so removed, so unbridled, so arrogant that it can tell us how to live our personal lives? Evil rarely comes upon us all at once, and liberty is rarely lost in one stroke. It happens gradually over the years and decades and even centuries. A little stretch here, a cave-in there. Powers are slowly taken from the states and the people. And before you know it, we have one big monster government that recognizes no restraint on its ability to tell us how to live. It claims the power to regulate any activity, tax any behavior, and demand conformity to any standard it chooses.